This is the Beach Barbell Podcast. I'm Nick Markey, Beach Barbell, physical therapy and strength training gym. Check out beachbarbell.com for details if you'd like to join. This is episode 45. You may have noticed I've changed the name of the podcast. I want to link it to our company name so that uh, everything is congruent. I'm going to keep the theme, the daily themes, Monday through Friday. So today, episode 45, will still be Fun Friday. So Fun Friday is where we talk about, different subjects that are, maybe interesting or maybe a little bit out there, sci-fi possibly kind of thing. So today, what I wanted to talk about was regeneration. So currently, muscles don't really regenerate too well. Some other animals regenerate well. You hear of lizards, starfish, other animals have those properties. We don't have it too well. Bones regenerate obviously a little bit. Muscles do it a little bit. But ultimately, if you lose a lot of muscle from some sort of trauma or accident, you're kind of stuck with whatever's left. Now, obviously, those remaining muscles can be strengthened and grown with strength training, but ultimately, you're going to be probably capped at a certain point because you just won't have the actual muscle fibers. So regeneration would be regrowth of those muscle fibers. Currently, there is research going underway that they're using pig matrix, matrix. So what that basically is sort of the framework for the muscles. So what they do is they take a pig muscle, they strip it down to the matrix, and then they practice implanting that in people with traumatic injuries with loss of muscle. And as long as they had remaining muscle in that area, the muscle regenerated around that matrix, and a lot of those people were able to regain better function. Like, maybe they had a limp when they walked, but now they walk pretty well and they can do stairs well, and some of them have even been able to return to running. So a lot of these are military. So they were riding in a armored carrier or something, some vehicle overseas or something, or patrolling, and some sort of explosive device went off and took out part of their leg. So what the Holy Grail would obviously be some sort of maybe combination of this matrix, or maybe some sort of injection with biologics like maybe growth hormone and or testosterone combination, maybe also combining with some sort of stem or satellite cell type of work. There's other things that we would also like to be able to regenerate, not just muscle, but also maybe cartilage. That would be probably more the satellite cell type deal. Um, there's bone regenerates reasonably well as long as the system is well taken care of and the bones are lined up, not crooked. Or well, I mean, they will heal crooked, but you want them to obviously heal the most optimal way. So obviously there's that movie Starship Troopers where one of the soldiers gets killed by one of the nasty bugs they're fighting, and he goes through a regeneration process. So I guess he wasn't fully killed, but he's listed as dead, as his friends point out to him as he's going through the regeneration process. And they have this kind of machine that is gradually it's almost like regrowing and stitching together his injuries to make him basically brand new. Um, that kind of technology, that instantaneous type of regeneration is probably quite a ways off, but you never know. I mean, we have to dream big to get there. So obviously the holy grail would be that you get an injury, maybe break a bone, maybe some sort of traumatic cartilage damage, traumatic muscle damage, even traumatic nerve or brain type damage. We're able to inject maybe some sort of satellite cell. Maybe this is harvested from the person, during or maybe even before. Maybe we'll have some sort of banks where you'll kind of save your satellite cells, maybe even from birth kind of thing as well. Then you'll inject that into the area. This could also maybe apply to just long-term issues with maybe tendon damage, that kind of degenerative tendons and degenerative joints, arthritis, more kind of progressive issues. So you inject the satellite cells, maybe some sort of nanobot, nanorobot, that's probably about the size of those cells or maybe a little bit bigger or whatever, goes in and helps kind of guide the cells to where they need to be. And then perhaps has some sort of, vibration or, frequency type thing to help stimulate more rapid growth at that, very small cellular level. And then, we could have, that could also include monitoring of those cells, how many are there, how many growths are there, because, the concern would be trying to make sure we don't have any sort of cancerous growth where maybe they grow way too much too quickly. So you want to kind of contain that growth. So those nano robots could be monitoring that, make sure that the growth is happening at an appropriate level, and the cells are growing the right way. They're not starting to mutate into weird other cells or anything like that. And so they kind of guide that process along, and then once their job is done, they can just maybe they're built out of some sort of biodegradable type material that then just disintegrates and goes in the body, turns into iron that your body can use and recycle. This would probably speed up the healing process for a lot of issues. Also, concurrently, the person would most likely be undergoing some sort of strength training regimen to, integrate those new cells into the body. And, with that, if you have the nanobots there, they could monitor the stress on those cells to make sure that it was enough stress, but not too much. So kind of that sweet spot where you're stimulating to strengthen and grow, but without necessarily getting more damaged or more sensitive. So that could be a cool rehab type thing. So you could kind of sense if the cells are doing, okay in terms of their recovery process and healing process. So regeneration, I could see, we're already working on satellite cells for mostly more long-term stuff, but there are lots of researchers in all sorts of different fields looking at the cellular level to figure out how we can best help all these issues. And the ultimate goal is that people are able to stay engaged with life and enjoy their lives as much as possible, because until we crack the immortality code where you can live forever, so time becomes I guess less not less important, but time becomes less valuable per unit because you have so much more of it. We need to make best use of all the time we get. So if we can get people regenerating and moving and enjoying life and having a greater quality of life for longer periods of time, then that's ultimately our goal with any sort of healthcare or rehab, or if health and fitness is, we want to live life more enjoyably and more fully to what we want. So I think that'll cap off a good fun Friday. I hope you have a great weekend. Again, this is the Beach Barbell Podcast, a little renaming. And I'm Nick Markey, Beach Barbell Physical Therapy and Strength Training Gym. If you're interested in joining, please check out beachbarbell.com for details. Go ahead and reach out to me. We can set up a time for you to come by, check out the spot, and kind of figure out what we need to do to help you reach whatever goal you're trying to reach. All right. Thank you very much. Bye.